Hello everyone, Kolonji Murray with TaxAssurances. Just wanted to do a helpful video around tracking business expenses when it comes to taxes. So one of the challenges that I come across every tax season for small business owners, especially people that are starting out, but even for some of the more established business owners, is how to track their expenses. Life happens. And everyone has their own style, their own way of kind of keeping track of things. Some people are completely disorganized, and then some people are phenomenally organized down to the letter and to the T. And what I recommend to my clients when it comes to keeping track of their expenses is do what works for you realistically. Like, I think that's the biggest takeaway that you want to have from this video, is that do what is realistic for you, not idealistic. And what I mean by that is I could simply say, hey, get a software package and make sure that you download your transactions and you go through every single transaction every month, and you keep track of your expenses that way. In my experience over the last 15 years or so, I recognize that people have the idea of doing that, but they don't do that when it comes to actually doing it. So that's why, again, I say do what is going to be realistic for you. If it's a situation where you can do it on a day-to-day basis and you know that you're that type of person, then by all means do that. And you can use, whether it's, I personally use Excel, where I keep records of my transactions in that. You can use off-the-shelf software, so QuickBooks and a number of other packages that are out there. You can use those. You can use a journal. So a lot of times you can get a journal that looks something along the lines like this, and you can use that to kind of keep track of all of your expenses, your revenue, et cetera, et cetera. And again, if that is something that is realistic for you to do, then by all means do it. You figure out the system that works for you, again, realistically, and that could be something that we can use as a way for you to keep track of your expenses, keep track of your income, and then when it comes tax preparation time, you'll have that available. The other thing is, with all of this, you want to keep the receipts. Also keep the bank statements. So that is a phenomenal way of making sure, one, that you as the business owner get records that are going to show you did have these expenses. But more importantly, if for some reason the IRS or the state or even both decide that they're going to audit you, you want to be able to show them receipts showing proof that you did have these legitimate business expenses. So it serves two purposes in that sense. Again, you can use software, or someone like me, I go out and use folders for every single month. So I have a folder for January through December, and in having those folders, I put the receipts in there. I'm able to store it, and I just have 12 folders at the end of the year. And again, if there's ever a question about the expenses and receipts for that, I'll have that. But again, for you really want to sit down, think through, look at your life circumstances. So children, no children, regular job, full-time, entrepreneur, whatever those circumstances are. Just really realistically, not idealistic, but realistically sit down and figure out, okay, what can I do that's going to really help me track the expenses related to this business that I've got. And it's important not even just for the tax preparation process, but it's also important for you as the business owner, because you want to understand and you want to keep good records for your business. Because one of the things that you'll realize is that the better your record keeping and the better your system is, the better you can think about your business, the better you can make decisions, the better you have clarity on what you can do to really grow the business and even scale the business. So getting that process, that realistic process of expense tracking and income tracking is critically important, both from a financial standpoint as well as a mental standpoint when it comes to running your business. Hopefully that's a good help. Obviously, there are other options that are out there for you to kind of think about in terms of tools and things like that. But again, I say that I give those first few. That way you think about what's realistic, and then most importantly of all is that you implement it. You start actually doing it, and then once you start actually doing it, then it sets you up for success with the business, and managing the business, managing the tax preparation process of the business, and then long-term growth for the business. hopefully that helps. If you've got more questions, by all means, you can reach out. But until then, take care.